The advice to pay extra toward your debt is useless when there is nothing extra left. You can make a budget. You can cancel a few subscriptions. You can stop buying coffee. And somehow, at the end of the month, there is still nothing left to send toward the credit card. Let's call her Maya. Maya brings home $3,200 a month. Her rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, and minimum debt payments consume almost all of it. She is not spending wildly. She is not taking expensive vacations. She is not ordering delivery every night. She is simply living inside a financial system where the required payments are larger than the room in her paycheck. Here is what Maya does not need. Another lecture about discipline. She needs a way to create room before the next emergency creates more debt. Today, we're going to build that plan. Paycheck entering a bank account. Bills appearing one by one, balance reaching zero. The real problem. Most debt advice starts with the same instruction. Find extra money and put it toward the debt. But what if there is no extra money? Then your first problem is not debt payoff. It is cash flow. Cash flow is simply the money coming in compared with the money going out. If Maya earns $3,200 and her monthly obligations total $3,180, she technically has $20 left. But one prescription, one car repair, or one higher grocery bill destroys that entire plan. That is why people can make responsible choices and still end up using a credit card. The issue is not always that they are spending too much. Sometimes the issue is that the financial machine has no margin. And without margin, every surprise becomes debt. So the first goal is not to become debt-free overnight. The first goal is to stop the debt from getting worse. Step 1. Protect the basics. Before paying extra toward any debt, protect the expenses that keep your life functioning. That usually means housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, taxes, and any payments tied to essential assets. Do not send an aggressive extra payment to a credit card if that payment causes you to miss rent or lose access to your car. That is not progress. That is moving the emergency from one account to another. Next, make a complete list of every debt. Write down the balance, the interest rate, the minimum payment, the due date, whether the payment is secured by an asset. Do not rely on memory. The numbers you avoid looking at are usually the numbers controlling your decisions. Handwritten debt list, spreadsheet filling in, calendar with due dates. If you are already falling behind, contact the lender before the missed payment happens. Ask whether they offer a hardship program, a temporary payment reduction, a different due date, or a fee waiver. You are not guaranteed to receive help. But asking before the account is seriously delinquent is usually better than waiting until the damage is already done. Step 2. Find the first $100. Once the basics are protected, do not search for $1,000. Search for the first $100. That is a much smaller target, and it gives you something you can actually work with. Maya reviews her expenses and finds $25 from changing her phone plan, $30 from renegotiating insurance, $15 from canceling unused subscriptions, $20 from planning groceries around what she already has, $10 from moving a bill to a better due date and avoiding a late fee. That is $100. Not from one dramatic sacrifice, from 5 small leaks. This is important because when you have no extra money, you are usually not looking for one perfect solution. You are looking for several small improvements that create breathing room together. And for the first month, that $100 should not all go toward debt. Keep a small portion available for real life. Because if every dollar goes toward debt and you have no buffer, the next emergency simply goes back on the card. The small buffer. Here is the part many debt plans get wrong. They tell you to attack the balance immediately. But if you have absolutely no cash available, the first unexpected expense can undo the entire payment. So build a small starter buffer. It doesn't have to be a full emergency fund yet. It could be $100, $250, or whatever amount prevents a minor surprise from becoming another credit card charge. Think of it as a shield, not a savings goal. Once the shield is in place, direct the rest of the new monthly margin toward the debt. This may feel slower, but a plan that survives an inconvenient week is better than an aggressive plan that collapses after one flat tire. Step 3. Choose one debt to attack. Now choose your payoff method. The debt snowball means paying minimums on everything except the smallest balance. Any extra money goes toward that smallest debt first. The debt avalanche means paying minimums on everything except the highest interest debt. Any extra money goes toward the debt costing you the most interest. The avalanche usually saves more money mathematically. The snowball can create faster emotional wins. Neither method works if you keep switching every month, so choose the one you can actually follow. If Maya has a $600 medical bill, a $3,000 credit card, and a $9,000 personal loan, she might choose the medical bill first for a quick win. Once that first balance disappears, its minimum payment joins the monthly amount attacking the next debt. That is the key. You are not just making one payment, you are building momentum. 3 debt cards, smallest balance highlighted, payment arrow moving forward. Step 4. Create a 30-day cash flow sprint. For the next 30 days, treat this like a temporary financial investigation. Do not try to completely redesign your lifestyle forever. Instead, ask 4 questions. Where did money leave without improving my life? Which bill can I renegotiate? Which expense can I pause temporarily? What can create income within the next 30 days? That last question matters. Cutting expenses has a limit. Income does not have the same ceiling. One extra shift, a weekend job, selling unused items, or taking on a short-term project may create more progress than trying to eliminate every small pleasure from your life. The goal is not to punish yourself. The goal is to create a temporary bridge between where you are and where the debt stops controlling your choices. And be specific. Do not say, I need to make more money. Say, I need an additional $150 this month. A clear number gives you something to solve. If this is helping you see debt as a system instead of a personal failure, subscribe to the Money Floor. We break down the financial rules underneath everyday decisions, without pretending the answer is always just spend less. Now, there is one more step people often skip. Step 5. Stop making the plan harder. Do not add new debt while trying to pay off old debt. That sounds obvious, but the solution is not always simply cutting up every card. If a credit card is paying for groceries because your income does not cover essentials, removing the card does not solve the shortage. You need to address the shortage directly. That may mean contacting creditors, applying for assistance, changing housing or transportation costs, increasing income, or speaking with a nonprofit credit counselor. Also, be careful with debt settlement companies. Before signing anything, understand the fees, the effect on your credit, the tax consequences, and what happens if creditors refuse the offer. There is no magic button that makes debt disappear. The right plan is the one that reduces the balance without creating a new crisis somewhere else. Payoff, the real plan. Let's go back to Maya. She does not suddenly find $1,000. She finds $100. She keeps $25 as a starter buffer and sends $75 toward her smallest debt. She contacts 2 creditors and gets 1 due date changed. She takes 1 additional shift for the next month. Now her available debt payment is no longer $75. It is $75 plus the extra income, plus the minimum payment that disappears when the first debt is paid. That is how the plan grows. Not through one heroic decision, through small amounts that stop leaking away and start moving in the same direction. The uncomfortable truth is that getting out of debt with no extra money may take longer than the internet promises. But longer does not mean impossible. Your first victory is not becoming debt-free. Your first victory is creating $25 of margin. Then $100. Then 1 paid-off balance. Then a month where an emergency does not become new debt. That is how the financial floor rises. If you have no extra money, do not start by asking, how do I pay off everything? Ask 3 smaller questions. What must be protected? Where can I create the first $100? Which single debt will receive every extra dollar? Answer those questions with your real numbers, not someone else's perfect budget. The goal is not to look financially successful. The goal is to stop the system from taking more than you can afford to give. Start with the next decision. Then, make the next one easier. I'll see you in the next one.